Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name is Jeremiah Kukowski. If we haven't met yet, I help coaches, trainers, and mentors scale their businesses to $40,000 per month and beyond. And I want to help you get more sales, more leads, more clients, and more customers into your coaching and online course business. Now, in this episode, I want to take you behind the scenes into a $1 million a month sales funnel and what it actually takes to do that. So I have a client of mine that we worked with from 2018 all the way up until a couple months ago this year, and now he's since pivoted and gone into a different direction with his business, and so we're no longer working with him, but we built his sales funnel to over $1 million per month. And I'm gonna walk you through behind the scenes inside how to do that, because really it's a case study of everything that we learned of what to do and what not to do. Here's what not to do. Don't ever map out and plan out your course or coaching program before you launch. Here's another thing not to do. Don't make all your graphics and your design and your websites all super pretty. None of that matters. Want to know what does matter? Is the offer copy that you use. A lot of people don't know what offer copy is. So offer copy is the language and the words that you use on a website that people connect with you with, where they visit the website and they see some kind of a problem that they have and a solution that you offer. So with this offer with Rick Pino, what we did was, it was an offer written towards worship songwriters. Now, originally, when he launched this, we launched with a program called Worship Coach. And it was inspired off of the work that my mom and I had done together with her inner circle to build a membership of multiple courses for worshipers. And it was about $27 a month people could join. And this was pretty successful. It actually scaled to $40,000 per month consistently. It brought in that much revenue. There were thousands of members paying to get new courses during the pandemic every single week. But that's not what actually scaled this funnel to $1 million per month. Here's what actually scaled it: was not having multiple people paying $27 a month or paying, $300 a year. It was having less people paying more money. And that's where most people miss it, is they think that their profits are going to come from having lots of little sales. It's actually way easier to sell a $5,000 and $10,000 program to less people and to ultra qualify those people. And so originally, when Worship Coach launched, it was directed towards anybody who wanted to learn about worship, whether it be songwriting, playing instruments, growing in theology. And it's pretty cool. It got a lot of great results, but it was like, okay, that's nice, but why would anybody invest $10,000 into learning further into that niche? Let me tell you why they would. So we identified that there was a segment of that market. We niched down further. And here's a big unlock for you: is when you discover your niche, the niche that you use initially may not always be the niche that you use forever. It may not always be the niche that you're going to use long term. So when we were doing worship discipleship, we ended up niching down towards worship songwriters. And those people were actually willing to spend and invest more money. They were willing to invest not just $27 a month, they were willing to invest $1,000 to $2,000 to $5,000 to get their music heard by people. And so I want you to think about that. You got to think in terms of the customer life cycle, the client journey life cycle, okay? So when you're coaching, your clients, they all start from, like, there's a wide net of people, right, who may have an interest in what you're doing, but there's a much smaller group of people that are willing to invest $5, $10, even as upward as $20,000 to $30,000 into what you're doing. And That's the group that you really want to speak to. And you want to build everything around that group that's willing to invest the most with you. Don't let your bleeding heart wanting to help so many people stop you from actually scaling with profitable offers. You need to have profitability in your coaching business, in your course business, for it to even be worth your time. And so when we were reaching all of these people, we found that with this $1 million funnel, $1 million a month funnel, and how do we get it to $1 million a month? I'm gonna explain this to you. I'm gonna go start to finish through it. We had identified, okay, people want to learn how to write better songs. They want to learn how to get their songs heard, and they want to learn how to grow in their brand, grow in their influence, and reach more people with those songs beyond just, okay, I'm writing songs in my quiet time. I love Jesus, and so I'm just writing this music because it's fun for me. Rather, people who wanted to make a music career and wanted to become somebody who goes on tour with their songs, and it became more of their identity as a songwriter, as a worship leader, as somebody who was building a brand around that. And initially, this is something that I had told Rick that he needed to do, but he was a little bit hesitant to it because he was like, well, I don't really want to, teach people how to make their songs go viral. That's not going to help anybody. I want to teach them how to get closer to God. And I was like, okay, that's great, but they really want to make their songs go viral, and that's what's going to make you the most amount of money in this niche. And so what took it to $1 million a month coaching program was when we started speaking directly to that desire of get your worship music heard. Launch your worship music. Get people to listen to your songs. And when we started building offers and we went and we niched down further to people who had already written songs but were struggling to gain traction with them, those people were much more willing to invest $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 in a program to learn how to do that. And so how do you say, well, $20,000? Well, here's how it actually worked out: is people were able to invest $1,000 to $2,000 a month for a 12-month program, okay? And so if somebody's investing $1,000 a month into a 12-month commitment, and they could save 20% off for paying in full, that's a $10,000 program. And Rick got over 160 people in 1 month to actually sign up for that. It was like incredible. Like, okay, 160 people at $10,000, that's $1.6 million. And so that was 160 people that wanted to be mentored and trained for an entire year on how to do this. And now here's the really cool part, is we were able to use a tool that I use in my business called coach financing, which allows people to take out a loan for the $10,000 or the $12,000 and pay it back over time, okay? And so people were taking out loans to be able to join this coaching program for a year and get mentored and get that information. What came out of it was absolutely incredible. And so this is what was inside of that sales funnel, is we had to identify, let's go back big picture here, okay? We had this whole group of people, these worshipers, these Christians, but we noticed they didn't want to buy anything else that we were offering. It was like, how much further can you go into just, grow in your walk with God? Like, people weren't wanting to buy that. They wanted something more tangible. So we ran what we called an AMA event. An AMA event was where we had people submit questions and we surveyed his whole audience. And what we found was the majority of those people all wanted to learn how to write better songs and get their songs heard. The ones who actually joined the AMA event. And so we ended up building a course around songwriting that sold like crazy, $250,000 in sales. It was a $100 course. He sold 2,500 copies of it. using paid advertising, using Facebook ads. And so we were able to build our advertising algorithm out to run Facebook ads to reach people that wanted this. One of the ways that we did this was we took the audience that was already connecting with his worship training, and we created an ebook offer. Basically, it was a free ebook on how to write better worship songs. We targeted that out, and we got 3,000 people that registered for that free ebook. Okay? So go with me here. 3,000 people registered for the free ebook on how to write better worship songs. And so they've already, just by simply registering, have said, I want to learn how to write better worship songs. Okay? We took that audience into the algorithm in Facebook and said, okay, find us 10 million more people like those 3,000 that registered for this ebook. And so Facebook was able to find us what it believed was at least 10 million people that were similar to who were worship songwriters, okay? And then from there, we were able to market a school of songwriting. And Rick brought together some of the best worship songwriters on the planet, sold 2,500 copies of that school. It was a 6-week school all about songwriting. And he ran the school again. 1,500 people paid for the school again. So we're already at I think it was close to $400,000 in revenue in 2 months just by selling schools related to songwriting. And that's where then things took off like crazy. We ended up creating an offer that was $1,000 called Songwriters Launchpad. Songwriters Launchpad was specifically designed for the people who had gone through those schools, those 4,000 people who had gone through those schools and wanted to know, how do I actually launch my music out there? How do I actually launch a record? How do I actually get people to listen to my songs? And it was an event that was live, and I was a part of this event, and we ended up teaching it together. Some of you who listen to this podcast may actually have been at that event. And so that event, it was sold for $1,000, and I believe we had almost 200 people register for it in 1 month. So there's another $200,000, right? So in less than, I think, 4 months, we had brought in $600,000 in revenue in this specific niche. And this is where things got crazy. This is how it became $1 million a month revenue stream, okay? We ended up saying, what if we took that live event that was $1,000 and we made it a course? And then we bundled a bunch of bonus content into it, and we ran a series of 3-day events that were free that people could register for. And I think we got almost 20,000 people to join us for these 3-day events called Get Your Music Heard and Launch Your Worship Music, okay? So these were live virtual events that we ran on Facebook. It was a free event for 3 days, day 1, day 2, day 3. I usually ended up speaking on day number 3, ended up help close those people. And we sold, I believe it was like 350 copies of that $1,000 course. So there's another $350,000. So we're right at almost $1 million in revenue in just 6 months time. Like that was from May to November. May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, 6 months. In 6 months time, we were able to bring in $1 million around this one concept, around this one idea of songwriting, and getting people to learn how to get their music heard and get their music out there, okay? Now, this is where things got even crazier. And I'm leading you to the $1 million a month. Is Rick was like, what if I sold a $10,000 coaching program for a year of mentorship with me to all these people who ended up going through our schools, ended up signing up for this program, and then what if we also took the main school and we marketed it for $200 to another group of people? And so we ended up bringing in 3,000 people into that $200 school. So there's another $600,000. just with Facebook ads. And then we ended up then marketing the $10,000 program to people out of this, okay? So you gotta track with me here. You gotta go the whole cycle. So we started doing this membership, right? This was back in 2018. We ended up selling a membership to people for $27 a month. And that was decently profitable, $40,000, $50,000 a month. We ended up then pivoting towards songwriters because of the AMA, where we ended up listening to the target customer. We ended up listening to what people actually wanted. We ended up listening to what people actually wanted to learn from us. And they told us, we want to learn songwriting. So then we made almost $1 million selling training and coaching to songwriters who wanted to learn how to write better songs. They wanted to get mentored in this. And then we ended up launching this brand of events that were free on Facebook called Get Your Music Heard. And before you think, okay, it's going to take me 4 years to do this, honestly, we could have done this in about 6 months. I have my theories as to why it took 4 years to do it. I think it could have only taken 6 months if we had actually gone step by step by step and actually just followed this process, which is what I teach people to do now, is you can actually just follow this process of asking your audience what they want, and you develop offers around what they want. And you might have to pivot away from what you originally started with. You might have to pivot away from that, like, okay, when you first launch your first program, your first niche, it's your baby. I think that this is the biggest reason why it took so long, is because the baby that was first launched with wasn't really producing the results that we wanted it to. And so you have to not be emotionally attached to your offers to the point that you're not willing to pivot your niche, to where you're not willing to expand your niche out even more to the group of people that are actually willing to spend money. And you want to start to segment out the people that are wasting your time, that are not willing to spend money with you. And you want to focus all of your energy towards those that actually will spend money with you. Okay? And so we launched with that one niche. We pulled the audience. What do they want to learn? Songwriting. Great. And then in about 6 months, we were able to pivot and create songwriting training. And then how do you launch your music? And then how do you get your songs listened to by people? And then from there, that's where the $1 million a month comes in, is what if a segment of those people that we've been working with for 6 months, and you can actually shrink this down to about a 3-month cycle, doesn't need to be a 6-month cycle. What if a segment of them wants to invest $10,000 for an entire year to be personally mentored in a group setting on how to write better songs and get their music heard? And so from that, 150 people ended up signing up for the $10,000 program. Or I think it was 160, something like that. And then we figured out, okay, we can automate this whole process. And we did it not once, but twice. and that, my friends, was the inside of how we were able to build a $1 million a month sales funnel, was because by listening to the target customer and then creating, okay, $100 training. Now we have a next level $1,000 training. And now we have a next level, another $1,000 training. And now we might go back and we did a $200 training. And now we have a next level $10,000 training to that whole group of people, because they had trust established. We had nurtured and established trust with people. They had learned how to write songs, but they wanted to go to the next level. And so out of this, I think there was close to almost 20 to 30,000 people that came in from the ads. I think how much money was spent on ads for this? I think it ended up being no more than about $10,000 to $20,000 per month. And you might say, well, I don't have $20,000 a month to start with. Start with what you got. If you start with what you got, you can get results. My client, Emma Dixon, spent 693 pounds on one of her offers, brought in 9,500 pounds in sales in 1 month using this exact process that I'm talking about with you right now. And so the 6-step framework is you find your niche, you write your offer copy, right? Your offer copy is the words that you use on the page, the words that you use and the language that you use that actually connects with the target customer. So for instance, just learning about growing with God was different than write songs, get them heard, become a famous worship leader, go on tour, and have award-winning records. Like, that's different language. Those are different words. There's a different type of a person who's gonna actually sign up for that. And so when you find your niche, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you write your sales copy, your offer copy, the actual words that are on the page that connect with people. You actually write those words on the page, and then you create a landing page and you put it up on a website and you promote it with your social media, your email list, and paid advertising. And you get people to sign up for your offer. And then when those people sign up for that offer, you sell them in a presentation on your paid program. This is the process that we teach people how to do. And you ascend those people as you build trust with them into higher level, higher ticket training programs. And so you might initially have a free offer. It's for 3 days. You'll sell people on a $1,000 or a $2,000 training. And then a group of those people, you'll offer them a $10,000 coaching package. I did this month in our business. We brought in $160,000 in sales. And you can do the same thing as well. And as you get, now why did my business only bring 160,000, not $1 million this month, right? Because we're still developing our offer copy. We're still honing in that language of what is specifically going to get people to actually sign up with us. And so it's all about not being emotionally attached to your baby that you first launched with, being willing to pivot your niche towards what's most profitable for you, and then creating an ascension ladder of offers that take your most committed people that are willing to make an investment, right? Because that's actually the most important part. Who is willing to make an investment? Not who needs the most help. Who needs the most help is usually going to not spend much money with you. And that's important to understand. Who is actually willing to make the investment? You build all of your offers around those people specifically. And then you just sell to them their hopes and dreams. So the hopes and dreams of people who might sign up for a worship, songwriting, get your songs heard, become a famous worship leader package is literally selling that hope and dream of winning an award. That was one of the taglines we use. We'll walk you all the way to the award show for $10,000. We'll go from zero to the award show for $10,000. And that language resonated with the right people who are willing to make an investment. And so this is why I stress so often, the language that you use is what determines who you're going to attract with your offers, with your ads, with your campaigns. And when you're building your funnel, your goal is to constantly iterate and get feedback from people. You want to listen to your target audience as to what they want the most, and then give them that. And it might not be the thing that you want to give them initially, but what are they willing to throw money at you for? That is what you want to build your offer around. And that is what created a $1 million funnel with my client, Rick Pino. And so, you could do this and duplicate this across multiple industries. My mom did the same thing with stocks. She's got a $12,000 program. She had close to 80 people sign up for a 12K program. And she has 3,000 people in her $177 a month program. It's the same exact model, no matter what industry you're in. Anybody can do this. Any coach, any course creator can do this. It's not rocket science. It's actually way simpler than you guys think. And using Jasper.ai, the artificial intelligence sales copywriting software that we use, is the number one ticket to be able to do this. So I hope this encourages you. Again, get on the waiting list for my Client Growth Accelerator, the group coaching program where I help you and work with you and hold your hand through the process of getting more clients in your business. I can't wait to talk with you. I can't wait to see you in there. Grow your life, everybody. And we'll talk soon. Have a good one.